Here we go. So in this video, I'm going to cover why corporates, but also scale-ups or SMEs should also invest in innovation, what models and frameworks we follow to come up with new revenue sources, how much time and resources you should hypothetically allocate to each type of innovation, and I'll share some templates, some basic spreadsheets, and some resources to help get you started. Always be paranoid. What got you here won't get you there. The Icarus paradox. Only the paranoid survive, innovate, or die. This has now become common knowledge for larger organizations, as well as some SMEs and scale-ups. The large tech giants also seem to get it. Sun Microsystems' logo is still on the back of Facebook's current HQ's logo in Palo Alto, as a constant reminder that they can be destroyed and disrupted rapidly. Now, if you're too early stage, if you're an early stage startup, your whole startup is basically an innovation project. So yes, you're already doing it. But what about once you've got genuine, reliable product market fit? Or what if you're an established, small or medium-sized company? What if you're an agency? What if you're a consultancy? I believe in all those cases, you need to get serious and allocate time and resources, as well as a clear process on how to find new revenue models, new innovative business models. Reid Hoffman in Blitzscaling calls this multi-threading as opposed to single-threading. Multi-threading is having multiple revenue models versus one simple revenue model. And at Growth Tribe, very early on, we integrated this innovate or die mentality. We use a patchwork of different mental models, of different frameworks, and of different tools, which we're going to be sharing in the resources, and which I'm going to go into some level of detail with you right now. So we're done with the why, and now let's jump into the actual core of the matter. The McKinsey model separates innovation into 3 horizons, taking into account time and impact. We've actually sort of changed the time aspect and replaced it with risk, with level of unknown. So let's look at Horizon 1. Horizon 1 is a shorter term horizon for a business model you've already validated. Basically a business model you've already figured out. It's essentially optimization. So the way we like to do it is we like to take Osterwilder's business model canvas, the one from Strategizer, which is basically a summary of all your business model's main components. And we consider a Horizon 1 innovation as a business model where you have proven the answer to all of these boxes. Everything is sort of validated. Of course, you can never have 100% validation as external and internal factors keep on moving, but it's basically a business model where you've nailed 90% of all of these boxes. These products are part of what we call our H1 portfolio, our validated product portfolio. We pretty much allocate 75 to 90% of our time and resources on optimizing this portfolio. So what do I mean by optimizing? Well, we mainly focus on 3 or 4 key metrics. Customer acquisition cost, so the cost to acquire customers, the customer lifetime value, how much value each customer brings over their lifetime, the COGS, how much it costs to produce the products, and of course product quality. And we measure quality through a mix of net promoter score, engagement scores, loyalty scores, customer retention, repeat orders, or any product quality metric that you can think of. Okay, let's take a really simple example to make it super clear. We'll use this example throughout the video. Let's imagine you're a large consumer goods company and you're selling an electric toothbrush. Horizon 1 is basically trying to reduce the cost to build that toothbrush, trying to reduce the cost to acquire customers, and trying to get repeat buys of brush heads by delivering a high quality product and service. So this is what most companies do, and I'm sure you're already doing it. At Growth Tribe, these optimization metrics, these KPIs, they're clearly engineered into the different departments of the company. So now let's move on to actual innovation. Let's move on to Horizon 2 innovation. This can be summarized in very brute terms as building sort of similar revenue models to what you currently have. It's called adjacent innovation, or Clay Christensen calls it sustaining innovation, which are basically improvements or developments on already existing products and services. Now, if we take the business model canvas again, Horizon 2 is trying to innovate with new products, with a new business case that's, let's say, 40 to 75% validated. For example, you sort of know what the cost structure is going to be. You can foresee what most of the key resources are and which key partners and activities will be needed, but you're still not totally certain about the target customer and what the exact product will look like in the end. Overall, we like to allocate 5 to 15% of all of our company resources for this Horizon 2 innovation. So let's go back to the electric toothbrush example. An H2 innovation would be, for example, a similar toothbrush technology, although with a slightly different design and targeted at children, so the customer segment is different, but we're still not totally sure about the age group of the children, and possibly with a connected app, or maybe not. We're not too sure yet, and we're not sure about what channels we're going to use to reach them. We do, however, know approximately how much it will cost to make, who we need to get partnerships from, and who will need to get involved to build it. Now, what's important is that for H2 products, we're not trying to optimize metrics like we did with H1. Instead, we're looking at all of the biggest assumptions, all of the biggest risks of this new business model, all the questions we just can't answer yet. Are we solving a real pain for this target market? Is the pain big enough for people to pay for it? Is this the right solution? Is the timing right? How much would it cost to acquire customers? Is the market big enough? Can we reach our customers through our existing channels? Does the financial model make sense? Do we have the right team to build this? Will this high premium pricing work for a kid's toothbrush? And then we rank them. We rank them by how unknown and how critical this assumption is to the business model. Imagine a stack of cards. If I can't prove this one to be right, then the whole stack falls. So this is what the matrix looks like, and basically you want to test all of the stuff that's in the top right first, the stuff that's crucial and unknown. Now, Jim, our head of innovation, he actually doesn't use the matrix. He uses a spreadsheet with a scoring system. And this is part of the resources that we've shared at the beginning and we'll share again at the end of the video. Then once these assumptions are ranked by order of priority, we work with Jim to design experiments on how to validate or invalidate these different assumptions. Jim deals with 3 to 8 innovation ideas at the same time. And this is a nice template that he uses to see in which stage each idea currently is. This framework was built as a collaboration by Jim and also Kees van Nuenen, one of the best lean strategists in Europe. We also got a lot of inspiration from the Corporate Startup book. As you can see, there's 5 different stages: ideas, problem market fit, problem solution fit, product market fit, and the scaling stage. And each stage is gated by creating certain KPIs. You need to hit these KPIs or validate these assumptions if you want to move an idea to the next stage. Of course, it takes a lot of work to validate or invalidate a brand new business model. We try to do this as fast as possible. Sometimes I have to admit we do it a bit too fast, but we really prefer the risk of a false positive rather than being slow. Essentially, being wrong might hurt you a little bit, but being slow will kill you. And this really depends on your company's culture. What is your relationship with risk and time? Now, I would have to do a different video on how to validate or invalidate some of these assumptions. If you'd like to see that video, put it in the comments. If I get enough requests, I'll make it. But here I can run you through some examples of experiments. We use desk research to prove, for example, that the market is already proven as someone else is doing something similar. We use competitive analysis to find out if someone's already validated this assumption for us. We use customer discovery interviews to find out what the real pain of the customer is and what solutions they're currently using. We use B2C smoke tests or landing page tests where we offer the product and see if anyone will sign up. We use trigger tests. Will people even click on an ad or accept to sign up on the beta version of our product? I'm not going to go into the detail of all of these experiments because they're so contextual to your business and to the assumption that you want to test, but this is basically what we teach at Growth Tribe. Now, some products we test for a month, other products we test for 3 to 6 months. Some of these get validated and some of these get abandoned. Even from the abandoned ones, we can learn something that we reintegrate into the rest of the company. And what happens to the validated ones? Well, they get put into our H1 portfolio. They're validated business models. And as every other validated business model, they're engineered in the company and they're dealt with by the different departments. Okay, now what about H3, Horizon 3 innovation? Horizon 3 innovation is radical innovation, radically different products. As Clay Christensen calls them, they're market-creating innovations. They often transform complicated and expensive products into products that are simple and affordable. If you look at the business model canvas, we see this as highly risky business models where the level of unknown is close to 100%. These are high risk, but they should also be really high reward. It's a totally new business model. It's like if that toothbrush company decided to use its engineering knowledge to start getting into self-driving drones, or if they decided to use their massive distribution network to start building a gaming app. So it's radically new, but it usually uses a core competence or an advantage that the company already has internally. Famous corporate examples of these are Amazon with its Amazon Web Services, or Microsoft with the Xbox. So how much do we allocate? Well, we actually allocate 1 to 2% of company resources on these projects. So that's not a lot, but we're always on a lookout for an H3 project that sort of pops up organically. Great successes of H3 innovation require identifying an opportunity within the company, so be on the lookout. So how much time should you allocate to H1, H2, H3? This is what's recommended by McKinsey. 80-18-2, 70-20-10, 45-40-15. This is really good on paper, but I'm kind of skeptical of allocating 10 to 15% of your resources for H3 innovation. Imagine you're a 10,000 person company, 10% means 1,000 people are working on H3 innovation. I'm pretty skeptical that this is realistic. So now you understand the 3 horizons of innovation. The next question is, how do you prioritize the different ideas that you have? In the resources, you'll also find a framework that Jim uses to prioritize all of the fantastic ideas that we have for innovation. All of the ideas are prioritized by a team we've built in-house that's called the investment board. That's just a fancy way of saying it's a team that looks at the financial possibilities of a project, how easy it is to test, how likely it is to work, and how much it would cost to run experiments. In the resources, we've shared a very dumbed-down version of what this investment portfolio spreadsheet looks like. There were a bunch of other spreadsheets linked to hypothetical profit and loss accounts, but it was way too contextual for us. So I'm just going to share with you the very simple version. So first, we're going to look at the part called the innovation thesis. This is where we're asking, what are you actually trying to achieve here? And I've put 1 or 2 examples. For example, finding new H2 within the highest net profit, get to 50 million revenue by 2021. Or another example is validating one H2 in the first quarter of 2019 to problem solution fit. How do you define success? Next, you have your actual innovation portfolio. Here you put all of your different product ideas. Here you put an estimation of how much revenue you think it can bring. Here we put the net profit, and here we try to put net profit at scale. So how much net profit can it generate over 2, 3, 4, 5 years? And here you'll calculate the ROI as a function of revenue divided by the required investment. Then we're going to look at how much time and resources is necessary to test these ideas. So here where it says A, B, C, D, E, you would put your different departments that are going to be involved. And here Jim has created an estimation of how much time it would take from each department to actually test the riskiest assumptions of that specific product. And then finally at the end, for each idea, we try to rank it based on impact. What's the impact on net profit? How valuable is this revenue model going to be? What's the validation risk? How confident are you that this product can work based on external factors like market conditions? And what's the execution risk? How hard or how easy it is to test and run this business model? How much of the core competencies do you already have within the company? How much are you going to need to build or hire? And at the end, this gives us an overall score. Okay, and now that we've looked at what the different ideas are and how likely they are to succeed, how much time it's going to take to test, we need to look at how much time we have available within the company. This is the section called resources available for execution. So here we look at the different roles or departments and we put people's names and we see how many hours they have available in that quarter or in that timeline to work on innovation. So if you have an idea above that takes a lot of time and you don't have a lot of time available, maybe you're going to need to reduce your ease score. And at the bottom, we also like to have a picture of our innovation portfolio to see which products are currently in which phase. Okay, I didn't want to go into too much detail for this part because we weren't even sure if it could be applied to different companies. If you'd like to know more,